Warning, don't listen if it's a podcast you want. This is a Chumcast. Just your basic gabfest among chums. A little news, some entertainment, an annoying opinion or two, and, if you're lucky, maybe even a chuckle.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
So it's time to buckle up. Whetstone Entertainment, in association with Is Chill Productions, presents Don't Listen, a basic Chumcast. And here are your hosts, Big Red and the Shebs.
Remember, everyone, just don't be yourselves.
It's showtime.
It's go time.
Oh, fire it up, Big Red. Let's get going.
All right. The world is a vampire.
Vampire sucking blood here?
Sucking me dry, dude.
Sucking you dry?
Don't you ever feel like the world is a vampire?
I did today after walking in and all the script changes. I'm like, God, what are they doing?
I don't know. They didn't. I don't think that we're on the same page anymore.
We were not. Today, everybody out there in Chumcast land, we are not on the same page. They were throwing curveballs, changing this, changing that. Today's just it's gonna suck.
No way. I think
you're all fired up. You're good.
All the stuff that we have to talk about today is going to leave a mark. It's going to be at least a bruise, a bleeder. Let's go through what. Well, first of all, we are presenting the Chumcast today. The Don't Listen Chumcast from the Farrell's Ice Cream Studios.
Farrell's
That's a great way to kick off things.
It's a great way to kick off things. But again, the fawn Shebs, I'm telling you.
Shit, I almost broke a freaking.
You did. What the hell was that? The fawn Shebs. I was scared of Farrell's. I went to a couple of birthday parties there. All that loud whistling and crazy stuff, and bringing that whole thing full of ice cream. Oh my God, it scared the crap out of me.
I have a serious question for you.
Yeah.
Or were you abused? Who picked on you? Who bullied you? What is the problem with this whole scared fear factor going on in your early developmental time in this world?
Well, I really realized I was probably a millennial way before my time. I just wasn't in a safe place. I didn't feel safe.
You're scared. You're spending a lot of time watching television.
And I was scared of everything.
Yeah. Have you ever thought late at night when you can't sleep, have you ever thought to yourself, where did all this fear come from? I could have really been living.
Yeah. Actually, no.
I know you do.
I know. It's loud noises. The whole whistling, the blowing the whistle, banging the tambourines and stuff like that. That scared me because my dad.
You're talking about Farrell's now.
Yeah, I'm talking about Farrell's.
Well, hold on. Before we get into your fear.
But it was loud noises.
Okay. Well, Farrell's, for the listeners, for the crickets.
Yeah, yes.
Farrell's was an ice cream parlor back in the day where it was crazy. You walked in, there were lights all over the place. There were candy stripe, wallpaper everywhere. It was a party. I mean, it was like a full blown. It was ice cream party.
Yeah, it was a disco without the.
They had the pig's trough. They would bring that thing out.
That's what scared me.
It was like a whole tub of every kind of ice cream you could think of, and
carried on this gurney by two Farrell guys, and they're running around blowing whistles and
things are on
sirens
fire
going off and fire. Oh, scary!
Wow, for me, I probably needed to be on Prozac. I was very excited. That was
like that?
Oh, it was a big deal. I never got to celebrate. It was I was abused as a child. So I was never...
You were abused as a child?
Of course I was abused as a child. I never got to go to Farrell's. My parents weren't spending any money on me at Farrell's. I was lucky to get a cake and, some Legos or something.
Oh, Legos?
The spoiled kids,
stuff.
The entitled kids got to spend their birthdays at Farrell's.
Well, all I know is when I was a baby, my father would go down to El Camino and want to show me the trains.
Oh, yeah.
The Southern Pacific Railroad going by. And he thought, hey, why don't I go down by the train gate and we'll watch the train go by? So he takes me down by the train gate. Of course, when the gate goes off, the bells go off, and it just scared me. He says I cried and screamed, and it just, I didn't. So ever then, loud noises get to me. So, from airplanes to other trains to to Farrell's. Yeah, loud noises I don't like.
Right. So you were actually more comfortable. Like you wouldn't be really comfortable at Farrell's. Your comfortable situation would be at the library.
Oh, yeah. Give me an Encyclopedia Britannica and I was set.
Man, Farrell's ice cream was so much fun. I don't know how that place ever managed to go out of business.
That was a big deal out here in the San Francisco Bay Area for our friends across the country. But yeah, it was I'm sure there were copycats all across the country like that.
I think that where you worked probably put them out of business.
I worked at first job, Baskin Robbins. Yeah.
Right. And that was far more your style, right? It was kind of like a library.
It was quiet. It was nice. We sold single scoops, double scoops, the rare triple scoop, especially on a cone, plain or sugar cone. We had the cakes. Yeah. It was much more my style.
I'm glad that we are in the Farrell's ice cream studios today because you're actually sort of an ice cream master.
I am an ice cream master. I was nominated as part of the Baskin Robbins All-Star team back when I was in high school. I was a super scooper.
Damn!
I know, right?
Wow, that must have got you all the ladies.
First of all, I had to
you were scared of the ladies too.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Oh my God. There were so many wonderful girls back then.
To drool at in the corner.
They all came in, tried to get free ice cream. Yeah. But I'm a rule follower.
Farrell's ice cream, man.
Farrell's ice cream. That's a good studio. There we go.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
You want to know what's coming up on the Chumcast today after you complained about all the script changes?
Yeah, because I actually have no idea, and I'm not sure what I'm going to say.
Well, we're going to talk. Your favorite restaurant, Fernando's.
Oh, Fernando's Tacos al Carbon.
They ponied up. They paid up again.
Oh.
They're sponsoring a segment today.
I love Fernando's.
So they're going to sponsor One Bad Mother, and we're going to talk about Thomas Jefferson. And you know why we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about what are they called? The first fathers?
The founding fathers.
We're going to talk about some of the founding fathers, but especially Thomas Jefferson.
Wait, he's a bad mother?
Dude, seriously. Those guys had no meds. They were always sick. They were always ready to die.
Oh.
So that's coming up a little bit later. That is in our segment called One Bad Mother. It's being brought to you by Fernando's Mexican Restaurant. Also, we're going to pick out of the bowl the Booyah and the Boom Shakalaka.
All right. So we'll see.
That's got a sponsor too, Teddy T's Tennis Camps.
Oh, tennis camps.
And your favorite, more cowbell. We're going to go back to the 80s.
Best segment by far in all the feedback. By far. Everybody loves more cowbell.
And today we're going to talk about cable TV, the rise of cable TV.
Oh.
And that leads us right into the world of MTV.
Oh, absolutely.
But right now, it's time to get into what happened on this day in history.
On this day in history!
On this day in history is being brought to you by bookbangers.com.
Bookbangers?
Bookbangers. And let's see.
I bet they're a fun place to work.
Ooh, this is a good one.
What happened?
back on this day in history in 1953, a couple of dudes decided that it was time to reach the summit at Mount Everest.
Everest? Only 53? That was it?
And there were these other, like in 1924, they think that somebody reached the summit.
Yeah.
But they disappeared. So they think they reached the summit and then they couldn't get down.
Oh, it might have been like a Russian cosmonaut or something like that.
I think this would definitely be something that you would be afraid to do, right?
Maybe this should be not another conspiracy theory segment. Who actually summited Everest first?
I think that they have made a ton of money.
Well, they had to
on who died and movies and books, all the kind of stuff that goes together about Mount Everest and dying.
It actually makes sense though, if you think about it. Why is it 1953? Because you needed oxygen. When did they actually have portable oxygen? You needed, besides the Sherpas who can just climb that and be fine. I mean, you need portable oxygen. Just saying.
So the
who did it? Was it Hillary, right?
Yeah, it was Hillary and Norgay, right? Edmund, Hillary, and Tenzing Norgay.
Oh, yeah.
So they were the first. There were 9 previous attempts that were documented. Mount Everest is Earth's highest mountain. that is above sea level.
Okay.
That's in quotes.
That's true. That's true.
Above sea level.
Take away the water, it's not the highest. Yeah, right.
So it's located in the Himalayas. I think that I would like to go to the Himalayas at some point before I die just to check it out, maybe to camp.
Maybe just go to base camp.
I'm not, look,
That actually, I thought
I'm not
about
making it up any
except for
else.
the food issues, because I don't like, I don't like food that I can't verify.
You're very picky.
I'm very picky, so that'll be my challenge about that. I have to bring kind of that a lot of
Pork and beans.
go down to Redwood Trading Post. I'm finding a lot of the camping stuff. Beef
Cup of
stroganoff.
noodles.
Yeah, all that stuff. But I need that. But I wouldn't mind venturing to base camp and just.
I wonder what these guys ate. I didn't find anything on that. So at the very top of the summit is the China-Nepal border.
Yes.
Which is pretty crazy, right? So let's see. Oh, the elevation was finally established. The exact elevation is 29,032.
Okay.
That was finally established in 2020, which leads me to believe that there was all sorts of gibberish going on there.
But it's changing, right? Because there's still continental drift, and it keeps increasing, an inch per every 10 years or whatever, right? Something like that.
Yeah. It's good knowledge.
I got something like this. But again, you can't talk about Everest by talking about the world famous Lukla Airport, the gateway to the Himalayas, the gateway to Mount Everest. All one way in, one way out. Look it up on YouTube. You got planes landing there, taking off from there. It's on the crest of a huge canyon in the Himalayas. It's fascinating. I'd go to there just to see Lukla.
All right. So let's book that trip.
No, let's book that trip. Anything else on that?
With a couple of hookers and a big bag of cocaine.
Probably need that.
And a fun little monkey. You can take a fun little monkey.
Oh yeah, you gotta always have a monkey if you.
So here's some quick hits on Mount Everest. You didn't even say thanks to your people at Is Chill.
I know they're kind of actually.
They're pissed. They're pissed.
They're not pissed, right?
They were a little bit cranky when I got it. I was late to start out with.
There's not very. Actually,
there's something going on with you guys right now. I can see it.
Should I say thank you now?
No, let's get through this and then you can thank them later.
Thank them before we go. Okay, I'll I'll acknowledge you later. Don't worry about it.
So here's just a couple of quick hits. People now actually get married at the top of Mount Everest.
No,
I think that'd be
how do
pretty
you get
cool.
a priest up there?
I think that would be pretty cool. It's now it's been summited by between 4,000 and 9,000 people.
Oh, so they're pretty accurate at count, huh?
So that was a little bit of a hitch in the giddy up.
Give me a break.
So look, you found the whole thing. You would find 4,000. You would find up to 9. I'm talking about in the research.
Yeah.
You'd find 4,000. You'd find 9,000. You'd find before 4,000. So they don't know.
And there are a lot of dead bodies still up there,
Yeah, they don't know. I mean, who's going up there to check it out?
They just found some guy who disappeared up there. They found him too. He's like just found him down one of the slopes.
Oh yeah. Speaking of dying, there's this crazy thing called the 2:00 rule. Do you know what that is?
I could guess, but go ahead.
Okay, so you got to reach the summit.
Yeah.
By 2:00. What happens?
Because you can't make it back down.
Because
of the OT level, your what oxygen is available, right? It's all about you get to a certain point, if you're delayed by the line trying to get up there, you have to turn around. You can't.
It's because of the deteriorating conditions after 2:00.
Oh.
The winds, the darkness, it's all kind of crazy.
I'm so smarter knowing you.
You really are. That's why,
I know.
And that is why they've made so many movies, right? It's not the fact that Mount Everest is 60 million years old.
It's 60 million years old.
60 million.
And you know what happened? You know how Mount Everest was? India crashed into it. The whole continent of India just slammed right into Asia like that. Caused the whole mountain range to just crunch up.
See, so don't question the 60.
It's India's fault.
Don't question the 60 million like you just did when you know to add that whole India.
India just crashed. The whole continental drift just boom.
And what else do I have here? Okay. The way you die here's the way you die if you're going to Mount Everest, the way you're going to die
it's exciting.
is that is oxygen is so limited, the body's cells actually start to die, and your judgment becomes impaired.
Oh yeah. People you go nuts. You don't even know what you're doing. It's not a bad way to go if you think about it. If you're going to go.
That's the way I exist. Every day.
You've been on the summit of Mount Everest since 1986.
And that was what happened on this day in history. And it was brought to you by our friends at bookbangers.com.
Turn off, walk away, and don't look back.
Mama always said life is about choices. Don't listen.
People, are you ready? Are you ready?
Just a bunch of time we'll never get back. Don't listen.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the Don't Listen Chumcast. I'm Big Red. He's the Shebs. And
We're thanking Is Chill and Whetstone.
okay, go ahead.
Seriously, guys. We come out of the 30-second dance party. Everybody's grooving and rocking, and they're still complaining that we didn't say thank you to them, guys. So acknowledging Michael from Whetstone Entertainment, right? And from Is Chill, we have Evan, Eric, Daniel, Marcio, and of course Rachel right there. It's a little light crowd today. Missing Doug. I think he's back in Ohio apparently right now, and of course Charlie's not here, so missing you guys. But thank you to Whetstone and Is Chill. Back to you.
Oh my
Big
God.
Red.
Oh my God. I'm
now
so
they're
glad
smiling.
that we did
Now
that.
they're smiling.
I feel the sense of like my whole spirit has been elevated now that we've thanked these fine young people.
Michael's cool. The Is Chill guys, they're still too young. They don't know what's going on.
We want everybody to stick around because you've been thunderstruck.
Oh, AC/DC reference there. Not bad. There you go.
Not bad.
Yeah, Is Chill's going, what?
And speaking of AC/DC, our 80s segment called More Cowbell is coming up a little bit later. We're going to talk about the rise of cable TV, which leads us right into
MTV.
of course,
Oh, absolutely.
1981, I think.
Was it really?
Mark Goodman.
I got my more cowbell thoughts getting lined up right now. No worries.
We're also going to read some emails in our Holla segment a little bit later, but right now let's get into the booyah and the boom shakalaka.
Oh yeah, the booyah and the boom shakalaka.
That's right. It's the Booyah and the Boom Shakalaka, and it's being brought to you by our friends at Teddy T's Tennis Camps.
Oh, the tennis caps and the fish bowl, baby. It's right in front of you. Grab a card, baby. You guys filled it up, though. Look at that.
Yeah, you know,
Is that Rachel or is that you?
That's both of us. I had, I want this to feel more like a lottery than like just 3 or 4 pieces
There
of
were a
paper.
couple, just for the folks at home, there were a couple setups last season that you could see something taped to the side apparently. So there you go.
So you're gonna love this one. If a blind person leads another blind person, both will fall into the pit.
That's the topic?
Yeah, we are talking about the blind leading the blind.
Oh my God. What,
Historically,
is there really notes on this? This is actually something we can talk about?
Before we get into this, you don't have to say the whole phrase, oh my God. You can say OMG.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Good point.
Because we're old men.
Oh, yes.
We're old men. We don't think about these things. But the new thing, OMG.
I am LOL.
See, you're getting better. But there's something to this thing of the blind leading the blind. You know, historically, the blind leading the blind has been the premise of many many great movies, and the theme. What are you looking up there?
No, I'm just
looking up someone on the computer.
blind leading the blind. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any notes on it.
Look it up. I'll fill them in here. Okay. So it has been the premise for a lot of really funny films, and it's been the premise.
That's a premise, really?
Forever. It's been a premise for comedy, right? So the 40-Year-Old Virgin, the whole premise of that movie is a bunch of idiots. It's the blind.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
The blind leading the blind, right?
All right.
And let me see. What else can I give you? Swingers was another one. Blind leading the blind. Office Space.
Oh, good one.
Same thing. Let's talk about Moses and the Jews. Moses led the Jews. Now, this is not a movie. I mean, this is a movie, but this is real life.
Right? This actually happened.
This is the blind leading. Moses just led the Jews all the way around, just going around in circles in the desert for 40 years.
40 years.
40 years, it's a long time.
That's a long time.
That's enough time to grow a very healthy beard. I'm thinking Moses, I mean, you know, that guy could grow a beard.
Yeah, and not very good hygiene back then either.
So the blind leading the blind is a thing, and it's chronic. It never ends. You look around. I want to encourage people to look around,
How'd you think of this?
to listen. Look around and listen a little bit. Non-experts teaching non-experts. You just have to laugh and let it go.
Oh my God,
you just have to laugh and let it go.
That is, it's actually funny you say that because, you know, I'm in aviation also as a side gig, and there was an aviation expert critiquing.
Oh no, that's the wrong blind leading the blind.
No. There's actually an guy who knows what he's doing, critiquing people who post things thinking they're aviation experts, and you see how people follow. You can just hear somebody talk about aviation, and they're like, "Oh, he must be an expert."
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God.
And I see where you've brought up the Peter Bruegel.
So this,
art
I
piece.
clicked on this, right? So there's an artist, Peter Bruegel, but you got to spell Peter correctly. Pieter Bruegel, Bruegel, and apparently
It's a great piece of art.
There's a famous painting. I wasn't aware of this. I heard of the phrase "blind leading the blind," but there's a famous piece of art.
It makes you think, right? So think about it. Just take a couple of seconds to think about war. There's a lot of blind leading the blind in war.
Freaking Hitler.
These are just some examples, right? There's a whole bunch of them, right? War, government.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, we can get into. We can talk at some later episode about what's happening in the U.S. Yeah.
Medicine has always been an experiment.
Always. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Let's take some supplements.
Really, it's actually, if you open your eyes and you look and you become aware and you listen, it's actually the blind leading the blind is the entire human experience.
It is. And caused by laziness. People just want to take the easy way out. They hear something, they're off and running.
Now, I'm not actually saying that it's the full, but everything has an element of the blind leading the blind in it.
I follow you.
I am completely freaking blind. You're an idiot to be following
I'm
me.
blind too, and I'm following you. I'm going to go right along with this Chumcast. I had no questions asked. I joined in.
So that is basically really all I had on this thing. But
I just wasn't aware. Everybody knows the blind leading the blind as a saying, but to know that it's kind of, when you put it in terms of movies and this stuff, that makes sense. That's interesting.
It's like a pillar, and
this famous painting. You look it up. It's interesting.
And if we talk less and we do less and we listen more and we observe, you will see the blind leading the blind.
There you go.
And that was the Booyah and the Boom Shakalaka, and it was brought to you by our friends at. Are they really our friends? Is the question?
Or are they blind?
Where's the? Oh, it's right here. Sorry, we got this. We got this. I gotta say this.
You got no card discipline. You gotta.
So we got this. An email came from dickhead who was like, enough with the bullshit about like not having a card or not having a sponsor ready and all that shit. And I'm like, I didn't respond. I probably should, but I'm going to respond now. Shit is coming out of my ass when I'm here. I'm trying to keep it all together.
He's trying to keep it. He's getting no support.
I talk about this. I talk about that. I got you. I got this. I'm babysitting
all these
here.
guys behind the booth laughing at you because you're not even organized.
And how could I forget that the sponsor was Teddy T's tennis cans?
You can't. So
that was the Booyah and the Boom Shakalaka.
The Don't Listen Basic Chumcast.
This ain't nothing but a loud ass cry for help. Don't listen.
Three, two, one, jump.
Don't f***ing listen.
Welcome back. It is the Don't Listen Chumcast. I'm Big Red. He's the Shebs. We're inside the Farrell's Ice Cream.
Farrell's or Farrell's?
Farrell's Ice Cream Studios.
Oh.
That we don't have any ice cream today, and it's hot in Northern California today.
Oh, it's hot this fall. Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, these chill guys they're acting like they want a second acknowledgement, but they're not getting it from me. So forget it.
Yeah, forget it, dude.
No, they're just freaking.
I can't wait to read the email later.
Yeah, they're just.
Hollow's coming up a little bit later.
So young.
You want to stick around for that? I'm a cowboy.
You're a cowboy? On a steel horse?
I ride.
Oh,
I'm wanted.
You haven't done that in a while. I haven't, dead or alive. You haven't done that in a while.
I'm lobbing one up to you. That's a lobber.
That's a very good lob. Absolutely.
By the way, your boy Bon Jovi is very irritating in an old age, dude. He's lost his whole edge.
Oh, a couple months ago,
he's lost his edge.
He was on the cover of AARP magazine.
Yeah,
I got that, baby.
Bye-bye.
I'm just saying.
That's the first sign of bye-bye.
And, his voice, they're still working on his voice. We'll see.
So, anyway, that was a lob for you. Bon Jovi is that's your boys right there, right?
That's my fantasy football team name.
So we're going to get into Thomas Jefferson. I'm fired up about the whole sickness factor of getting ill and being ready to die like almost every day back in colonial times. But I want people to stick around for the emails, the holla segment.
Good stuff. Yeah. People are still commenting. We love the participation.
And we also are going to take a look at the rise of cable TV and MTV.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a good one too.
More cowbell's always good.
But colonial America was a bitch.
I'm telling you.
I mean, I am grateful. Once I started getting into this, let me tell you something. Living in today's world is so cush compared to living back in the days of our founding fathers.
Founding fathers. And that made them one
bad mother.
That's one bad mother.
Nice.
See, it's chill. You guys are on fire with all your with the. Oh, you got a phone call. Oh, Oh,
you can't say.
I know who that is. I know who that is. She is cool.
Straight porn.
She is cool. Okay. We have to remind her that we're talking about her.
Oh, straight porn, baby.
What?
She's porn.
Nice.
She's straight porn.
I knew her. She's nice.
No, she puts on this little nice girl thing, but then it's on like Donkey Kong.
I don't think so. I think she's. I used to work with her.
That's her whole plan.
I used to work with her. Anyway, but good job is chill with the cueing the one bad mother segment. You just nailed it right on the
Yeah,
money.
but what's funny is dude over there is sweating his ass off trying to get
that was Daniel.
So colonial, like you go down this rabbit hole of colonial America, and it was such a bitch. It makes me so happy to have like cars and air conditioning and lights. And dude, these guys were like on horses. They were trying to get places on. Imagine how I would be on a horse.
I'm
Dude,
totally
they
agree
don't
with it.
make horses big enough for a 6'6", 235 pounder.
The pain. I mean, before anesthetics and stuff. I mean, the pain these guys can't like the guy walk. Just kind of jaunt down to the drugstore, get some Tylenol. Not happening.
Yeah, and I went down this rabbit hole. It really got me. I was so hooked. I mean, colonial times. If it wasn't smallpox, like smallpox was a big thing. It should have been called big pox. It should not have been called smallpox. It was a big thing. It got like everybody. If it wasn't smallpox, then it was some kind of pneumonia or a camp fever.
So they weren't wearing N90 masks or anything back in the day?
Nope. The N90 masks had not come into existence.
Oh my God.
You were breathing the air. You were smelling the smells. It was pure. But tumors were also lanced. When you've got a tumor, right, like on your leg, like George Washington had a tumor that was on his, like there's a
lance it.
You have to go deep into the internet world to find out these facts. But George Washington had like this huge boil, like freaking growth of a Mars, Uranus, freaking a large growth on his thigh, and it had to be lanced. It had to be lanced like with a knife, and there's no pain relief.
Wait. So you get in a time machine, you go back, and you standing in front of the founding fathers, and your first reaction is going to be, "What the
is that?
Are you? You're saying to yourself, are you kidding me,
dude? I don't know what it is, but what I do know is the only anesthetic that I have,
what
is booze.
Were they drunk every night?
No, they grew like George Washington was like a whiskey dude. He was like a wine dude. Jefferson was like a wine dude. Ben Franklin was like a wine. They were all
doing this stuff. They're leading the revolution, fighting the revolution, winning the revolution, doing the Declaration of Independence, writing the Constitution. They're doing all this stuff.
Yeah, they were always in pain. They had arthritis was probably the biggest deal. It was so painful that most of these guys never got any sleep. 4 out of 10 kids died in childbirth, and tons of women did too. And if they didn't die in childbirth, very few of them made it to the age of 10.
Wow. Jeez.
Think about childbirth. Nowadays, you go to the hospital, you hang out for a little while. They got some stuff they can numb you up with. It's pretty comfortable.
Episiotomies were,
right? Childbirth back then was like, wow, I'm pregnant and I'm getting huge and I'm really uncomfortable.
I'm seeing your baby's ass. Sucks to be you.
Yeah, there's a lot of. Oh yeah, the other thing. I mean, we could get into that all day, but we don't have any right to really talk about women's struggles. Psoriasis was called boils.
Oh.
See, because that's really kind of what psoriasis is. It boils. And it would cover entire bodies. And what they would do when they got, this was very common. So when they got these boils all over their bodies, they would make these mega trips. Like they would go from Virginia to New York to these baths, to these warm springs where they would get completely naked and they would stay in these baths, and it would make it worse. It would make
they thought that was going to help.
That should be some insight. Should be some insight for you. They did not have any answers medically in the colonial days, right? These guys couldn't sleep. There were writings from George Washington. He had everything. So George Washington wrote that there would be nights that he was so filled with arthritic pain that he could not turn himself in the bed.
Oh, geez. Poor Martha.
Martha didn't care. He had her doing a million different things around the plantation, around Mount Vernon. She had her own aches and pains.
He couldn't turn over. And then from our, season 1 back then, he had all the teeth issues too. I mean, he was all effed up.
Yeah, I do have some sympathy. I think maybe to put salt in the wound a little bit, is that most of the things that they dreamed up, like the bleeding and all the different stuff they tried to come up with to be to help these ailments, actually made the ailments worse. Jeez. Almost all of them did. So, you can't put your findings in the computer, right? How does everybody know? Hey, I tried this, but it didn't work. You know what killed Benjamin Franklin? No, electricity. He electrocuted himself. Yeah. He was a serial killer, so he had a bunch of dead bodies. They found a bunch of dead bodies, like 30 dead bodies, I didn't know that. Underneath his home in Philly. Was he one of the original colonial serial killers? Well, we haven't solved that mystery yet, but that's rumored. Oh, that's a segment for the future segment, isn't it? So he died of kidney stones. And that hurts. I heard that people have said that hurts like nobody's business. Dude, I had a friend who had kidney stones who said it was like no joke. They're sharp calcium constrictions. Yeah, I mean, no way. See what I got on Ben Franklin. So Ben Franklin lived with kidney stones, they say, from his early 50s into his 80s. When he those things look like the star from like Superman, the original Superman movie, the movie. You know, that little spiked star that flew the baby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That hurts. Looks like coming out your wee wee. Oh yeah, that looks like a lot of fun. No fun. I can't concentrate right now. So Ben Franklin lived until his 80s, and the only relief. That's amazing, though. His only relief was wine. He could not stop inhaling alcohol. He could not stop. He's drinking. He could not stop because it was the only anesthetic. That was the only thing they could depend on, was like whiskey, rum, and wine. Peeing sharp objects, and you need more wine. And then the more wine you drink, the more you peed. It sucked. Another great thing, another weird, not great, but another thing, these guys were all avid exercisers. So they believed that exercise would take away. They had home gyms and stuff? So Benjamin Franklin was a huge swimmer. He would swim all the time. Oh. Right? He would, George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, they rode their horses. I think it took, to ride their horses like 15 miles, it took like an hour and a half. So you're talking about that's a lot on the body, right? That is a lot on the horse. More exercise for the horse, I would think. But Benjamin Franklin was also, in his writings, you find where he was lifting dumbbells. And if you look at, pull up a portrait of Ben Franklin. All right. If you look at him, for all this exercise and stuff that we're talking about, dude was not in great shape. Dude was a little bit, pudgy, and dude didn't really look like he was really healthy. Some of the other things were whooping cough, cholera. So cholera would come from, drinking the water that you crap in. He was doing that. People did that. They were all, plumbing was a thing. There was no plumbing. There was no plumbing at all. So people were drinking the water that it was all getting blended up. They were all mixing it up. You're saying this guy was a swimmer? That's what he says. That's what he says. He also got laid a lot. He was like a complete player. Ben Franklin was like this huge player. He should have been president, dude. In colonial times, he really made miracles happen. Well, that's why back in the 70s, everybody was flying kites, because it was like foreplay. But he was always in pain. Just saying. Look at his face. He's never smiling. He's not happy. No. So I haven't even made any mention. There's no mention anywhere we go. There was no mention anywhere we researched of strokes, cancers, or heart attacks. And one more thing is that, George Washington got smallpox as a young kid in Barbados, 1750s. He was a young kid, one of his first big army thing. Yeah, in Barbados, he almost died, and his face was pocked with all the scars. Oh, yeah. And we don't have any evidence of that. They don't show that in the portrait. There's no evidence of that at all. I would also love to see him smiling, because his dentist issues, as we've talked about before, his mouth issues were monumentally horrible. Thank you, France. And I think there were a lot of people. Yeah, thank you, France, for the dentists. But I think a lot of people struggled. We're talking about health. A lot of people struggled with the teeth, too. There were no dentists. It's amazing these guys made it to 80. Seriously. George Washington was 67. Thomas Jefferson was 83. Let me tell you, we're going to end this. Thomas Jefferson was completely frickin' miserable. He fell off in 1822, those were his first falls on his horse.
Okay.
Right? And he broke his wrist and he broke his arm. That's all we know that he broke. But he fell way more times than that.
Fix that back then.
You don't fix it, and you live with arthritis. So he lived with very painful arthritis from, forever. He was a kid, when he fell. I mean, I wasn't a kid. He wasn't a kid. He died. 1822 was when he fell, and 1826 was when he passed away.
Okay.
So it wasn't great timing. But he was miserable. So his death, Thomas Jefferson. So a broken arm and a wrist gave him all this crazy arthritis, which led to pain, which led to what? Insomnia. You can't sleep. You're always in pain. You can't sleep. You can't heal. And
from last week, or from a couple of weeks ago, hey.
And that developed.
Snoring. If you snore, you don't sleep.
I'm sure he was doing plenty of snoring.
Divorce.
And that developed into migraines. He had these, you read about all these guys having horrible, Thomas Jefferson had so many important meetings going on, and he was bedridden for months at a time with migraines. I know people that suffer from migraines.
Migraines are horrible.
Dude, I don't even like being hungover. I can't imagine.
That's my comparison. I said, I'm out. If I have a headache like that, are you kidding me?
Have you ever experienced a headache like that?
I've experienced bad headaches, but I know how bad that is for me, but I know it's much worse for a migraine, and I know people who have it, and I just don't know how they do it. And it just amazes me.
Seriously, like, I understand why this guy wanted to invent a university of study. Like, he wanted to figure out how to get out of pain. Like, so eventually what ends up killing, everything is killing him. But what ends up really killing him is diarrhea. He has diarrhea. He's had diarrhea for 30 years.
Really?
Chronic diarrhea. Thomas Jefferson was making up reasons not to go to meetings. Like, he was missing very important meetings that he had to be at because his health was in such huge decline. Imagine, like, you're like out in public and you have this diarrhea problem. You're farting up a storm, dude. You're stinking up the room, dude. You're dribbling down your right leg. Like, you're letting it go, bro. We're not even talking about the embarrassment that comes with the discomfort of diarrhea. So he suffered with urinary tract infections, kidney infections. He couldn't get out of bed. He could not get out of bed. His death was pure suffering.
Oh.
And take a look. And George Washington, they bled the guy to death because he had a sore throat.
Oh, and Jefferson died on the same day as the second president, John Adams, as well.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
They were trying to outlive each other. Is that all I got? That's all I got. The bottom line to this segment was,
anybody lived back then is one bad mother. Straight up.
Seriously, like, we have life. So we have cars. We don't have horses. We have cars, right? We have a pill that's going to take away the pain. If we're in pain, and also we have the booze. If you need the booze, you can have the booze too. I mean, you can get all the modern conveniences. I would not have done very well in colonial days.
No, me neither. Again, I'm weak. I couldn't do it.
All right, that wraps it up. And that was One Bad Mother. And it was brought to you by Fernando's Mexican Restaurant.
Where's the awesome sauce?
Why didn't y'all tell me this was a damn rabbit hole from hell? Don't listen.
People, are you ready? Are you ready?
Follow us on Facebook and let's get stupid.
Yeah, buddy. It is the Don't Listen Chumcast. I'm Big Red. He's the Shebs. We are back inside our Farrell's Ice Cream Studios.
You know, there's not enough time on these 30-second dance parties to hit the restroom. There really isn't. We got to go at least 45 seconds.
I think we all need to go a little more frequently these days.
Yeah, it's a natural progression of getting older. Yeah.
So before we get into this, were you a Roger Moore or a Sean Connery? Who was your Bond?
It was no.
Roger Moore?
No.
Oh, that was mine.
No, I was I'm the recent. Who's Daniel Craig? I'm all Daniel Craig. To me, that's that connected, and then Sean Connery. But all the guys in between were kind of like.
Okay, just wondering. All right, so coming up,
where the hell did that come from?
I was going to throw out.
Is Chill throw that in?
No,
really?
I was going to throw out this 007 quote that I was hoping that you could get the back end of, right? Our little game, but
try it. I watched.
No. I'm moving on. You're totally out of the realm.
All right.
You're totally Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're out of the realm.
Yeah. Pierce Brosnan. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. See, I don't like either one of those fools.
Timothy Dalton. Uh-huh.
How many movies did he last for?
I think he's 2.
And where is he now?
I don't know. He's doing Electric Company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They couldn't hold. Okay, so forget it. I'm not going to get into that debate.
All right.
Coming up, we're going to read the emails and holla. But right now, it's time to get into more cowbell, which is being brought to you by Longest Drive Golf Ranges.
More cowbell.
Guess what? I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Still one of the best intros out there. Gotta love it. More cowbell. I got a fever. Love it. This is why, this is why everybody loves this segment.
So let's talk a little bit about cable TV and the rise of MTV. What would people do without their 500 channels?
You gotta remember,
they would shit themselves.
Yeah, remember it's 500 now, but back in the 90s, it was 57 channels, according to Bruce Springsteen. 57 channels, nothing on. But you go back there, you just started to get into this.
We had like 4 channels, right? Like the network channels was it. Plus you would get like the electric company.
Then you had some of the UHF, the VHF side, right? You would have the TV20, the TV44 out here in the Bay Area. But yeah, you had a couple channels there. That was it.
And then now we have these streaming services on top of your 500 channels. And I struggled to find double-digit channels that are even watchable.
No.
Like I pay for 500 different channels in my streamers, but there's like 3 things that I can watch.
Yeah.
It's like horrible.
But they're getting back in. There's networks coming up now that are retro, right? So replaying the TV shows from your childhood, right? You're getting now Emergency and Adam 12. You're getting Leave It to Beaver. All this stuff from your childhoods now. There's everybody's finding their niche. You're getting Magnum PI, right? You're getting Simon and Simon. Just go down the list. Yeah.
Wow. Oh yeah, you were a TV connoisseur.
Yeah, because I was too scared to go out and do anything.
Were you big into TV even when there were like just the 4 channels?
Well, I knew what was going on. Yeah, I was okay.
So you were consuming.
I was watching Dallas every now and then.
Okay. So think about life before cable TV. There was dinner at your dinner table with your family. There was hide and seek. There was kick the can. There was ding dong ditch. There were
a TP,
lots of
house.
things. When cable TV, when we got that little thing with 500 channels,
you got a box, right? You got a box with all the numbers. Then you had a little switch on the side that did it to the the other side. So you almost had like
when that came around, all that stuff got lost because we sat in front of our TVs and watched our 500 channels.
We sat in front of our TVs trying to get the porno channel to kind of give us a little sneak peek of what's going on behind that scramble. That's all it was in the 80s, early 80s. That's all you're trying to do. You try to find that dirty channels. Oh yeah, and maybe you can click on it, scramble, but sometimes the scramble didn't work all the way.
So, do you know what the first paid cable channel was?
No.
HBO.
Okay.
Do you know what year?
80. I don't know. Dramatic pause.
1972.
72 HBO came out? They were doing cable back then?
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
And look at the cancer that they spawned. Everybody is a cable channel now, right? HBO, I remember HBO was a big deal. My brother had a job. He paid for it, like in his own room.
Back in the 70s? It wasn't an 80s thing?
72.
Really?
Yeah. And they showed, soft porn.
Yeah.
And I remember when my brother would go out at night, I would sneak into his room, turn on his HBO and check out the soft porn. I'd be like, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
It was good shit.
And the HBO always had that nice catchy intro, right? Da, 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 da.
Do you know what the first the first TV station or network was when satellite TV came along?
I'm going to say TNT, USA.
Very close. TBS.
TBS, okay.
Yeah, and I don't have the year on that. But Ted Turner distributed his station from satellite to cable.
Yep. Out of Atlanta, started CNN, right? Started going all that route, yeah.
And to close out the 70s, this is just mind-blowing. Nearly 20 million households had cable TV.
And remember, hotels and motels would were advertising color TV, cable TV. They actually advertised that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it was unique.
So that brings us to the 1980s, which brings us to MTV.
Oh, there's your...
It was 1981.
It's your Keystone, baby.
All of a sudden, we no longer had to depend on our Walkmans, on our vinyl albums, or our AM, FM radios.
Mixtapes.
It was MTV was the one channel that brought the face of music into our consciousness.
Totally did.
Mark Goodman.
Yes.
Martha Quinn.
Mark Goodman, yeah. He had great hair. He had that whole kind of like perm hair, didn't he?
The first video ever was your favorite video.
Which
Video
one?
Killed.
The Radio Star, yes, by the Buggles, right?
And then Pat Benatar was the second video.
Oh, see, no one knows the second, but this is good trivia.
You Better Run.
Oh.
Which someone's going to have to play that song for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but
Pat Benatar, there you go.
Yeah, she was number 2, right behind Radio Killed the Video Star.
There you go.
No. Video Killed the Radio Star. I remember I liked that song.
Yeah, it was good. It's good. It's good. And it's a good live version, too. They do a nice job.
Within 60 days of MTV premiering, stores were selling the music radio stations were not playing.
Oh.
MTV stole that audience.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
I mean,
that's just crazy.
This is where now your image came into play, right? This is where ugly people stopped being able to produce music, and you had to be good looking.
You had to put on
you had to. This opened up the.
You need some makeup.
Yeah.
Right. You need some makeup. So the bands that were getting the most play right out the gate, Men at Work, Bow Wow Wow, The Human League, The Fix, Madness, Adamant. The Brits were actually at the forefront of this whole thing with their new romantic scene.
Yeah.
So they had this new romantic scene, Duran Duran, all that. They had this whole lipstick and makeup thing going on.
Played well on TV.
Right before.
Yeah.
Right? I remember MTV seeing like Hungry Like the Wolf on like constantly. Right? I think their whole thing, Duran Duran's whole thing may have been the video.
Yeah.
May have been the fact that they kind of started going with lipstick and makeup.
It's the trifecta, right? I mean, looks, on the videos, that was key.
Over 50% of the MTV audience was between the ages of 12 and 24.
Yeah.
The VJs, like we mentioned, Alan Hunter, JJ Jackson, Mark Goodman, Martha Quinn. They actually spoke to the bands and had them perform live. And we actually got the opportunity to get to know these bands. Think about that market. We'd spent all that time opening up our albums and looking at all the pictures and reading all the lyrics and not really knowing anything about these people.
Just spawned.
And then bam.
There you go.
Right in our faces, dude.
There they were. The characters that they created and all that stuff right there.
It was so huge that the Dire Straits included I Want My MTV.
There you go. There you go. Theme song.
Money for Nothing. Bands spent more money on videos than they did producing their albums.
Right. And then you can tell bands taking lazy way out, just showing kind of a live concert version, right? Overdubbing, or you made your videos, put some effort into it, kind of telling the story of the song. Yeah. Different ways to different do it. Right.
Peter Gabriel, Sledgehammer was huge. Culture Club came out. We were like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, are you serious, dude?
Why don't we just repeat the lyrics over and over and over and over
Adamant.
and over and over? Yeah. Adamant.
Hall & Oates.
I remember people at high school wearing Adam Ant t-shirts. I got a little scared of them.
The Police, Van Halen, The Cars, Rat, and others were actually considered to be the video pioneers.
Oh,
videos would do worldwide premieres. Do you remember that?
I remember that. I mean, Madonna was to me, it felt like the leading of the premiere videos, because I remember, what was it? Papa Don't Preach was like so huge. Like they're going to show this at 11 o'clock at night. People would go to people's homes and have watch parties and stuff for this stuff. It was amazing.
Weird Al, think about it. Weird Al made a career out of videos.
That's right.
I mean, and he didn't look great, but he was different and he was funny.
He was a character. Yeah. Yeah, he had an accordion.
So Live Aid, they broadcast live on MTV in 1985.
Go right down the list. Kurt Loder with his MTV news updates, right? So now they started taking the artists and the news around the artists, now broadcasting that. They had segments like that. Yeah, Kurt Loder, baby.
At Live Aid in 85, they talked to the bands backstage. In 84, Madonna, they did their MTV Awards, and Madonna's Like a Virgin, absolutely soul show.
Yep. White wedding dress.
And then my favorite would actually be in 1986 when they started doing live spring break coverage. Oh, yeah. Dude, that's phenomenal TV. Yeah. I mean, that's phenomenal TV.
You got this generation doesn't know how to do spring break the way that they used to do it in the 80s.
And MTV was so genius. They marketed the spring break debauchery.
They knew their audience
as youth culture.
Yeah, they knew their audience. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, what else can I give you here? So they broke up all the videos and they segmented the shows by the music genres. And that didn't happen until 1986. So then Real World, so they broke it up, Headbangers Ball, they had modern music, or the alternative hour, whatever it was, right? And then in 86, the Real World, or 90, whatever year, I don't know what year it was, but when the Real World came around, it like broke the mold of
they
TV
started doing
altogether.
their own shows and stuff. So they really just diversified and expanded what they did around the music scene and around the youth culture. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is, I believe that the Real World is considered the first reality show of all time.
I think so. Yeah.
Cops should have been in there somewhere.
Yeah, but I think Cops was good back in the day. Remember that. But again, to me, the birth of cable TV, all about finding that dirty channel.
Yeah, MTV, the dirty channel.
Seriously, I mean, MTV was fantastic, but you had access to dirty movies.
Yeah, that's true.
You started getting into that, and if your parents, maybe they had the subscription. You never knew. But
just think about, I agree with you on that, but just think about how the birth of cable TV, and a step further is the birth of MTV, changed the life of a teenager in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, and how it just totally took the teenagers of the 90s on a whole new road. Absolutely.
Yeah, we lived through the golden age when everyone else was killing themselves with an overdose of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We survived.
That absolutely.
And that was our radios, our
yeah, 80s segment
called
More Cowbell.
And it was brought to you by our friends at Longest Drive Golf Ranges.
Time to unplug and run.
I believe we have found the bottom. Don't listen.
whole lot of nothing burger right here. Don't listen.
Oh, yeah, the haters love us. It's the Don't Listen Chumcast. I'm Big Red. He's the Shebs. We're getting ready to conclude the show today, the Chumcast, with a look at some of the most entertaining emails that we got on Holla. And Holla is being brought to you by Orca Whale Watching. Watching. So Farrah, I've got one here from Farrah. Farrah in New York City. She grew up in the Bay Area and loves all the old spot references that we make. She says she misses it so much, and she's binging. She's listening on the website, and she says New York City is a shit show. Well, West is the best. Should have stayed in the West.
Yeah, I tell you. Do you remember we had a first set of emails was from Stacy and Gilroy? We've kind of thought she was kind of a nut, but she says she's still listening.
Oh, nice.
But not sending very long emails anymore. So Stacy and Gilroy is still hanging around.
Yeah, but who cares? She sent us like $400. $400.
She actually was a very good sponsor. So thank you, Stacy. But appreciate you checking in.
And she got a little butthurt. I think I made fun of her or something.
We both did. A little inappropriate. Yeah. We kind of called her nuts. But she was writing these long emails.
We hang our hats on inappropriate. I think she understands that.
She gets that. She's okay. She's still with us. That's good.
So Drake from LA. Dig this pod. Very underrated. Glad I found you guys. I'm hooked. A great variety of topics. Lots of fun. Chemistry. You guys have a lot of chemistry. I dropped y'all a 10 spot.
I think I know that guy.
Yeah,
his real name's not Drake, but I think I know who that is.
No, that's I don't know.
I think it's Drake. And I know this other guy, Matt from Roseville. Our buddy Matt. We know Matt.
Yeah.
Remember the Matt up there in Roseville?
Of course.
He says he wasn't as mean to you in high school as you think.
You know,
I mean, I just saw him and he was.
You got to let it go. I got to let it go. I accept your apology, Matt.
He's not apologizing. He's saying he didn't do anything.
Yeah, well, so I accept your denial. I've moved on from high school. I'm not really there anymore, but I appreciate it.
You know, his brother Mike's a big fan of ours too.
Oh, good.
So that's good. So we got to keep be nice to the Matt and the Mikes.
Felicia in Texas. So it doesn't say where she. Oh yeah, great show. So funny. You Bay Area peeps have taken over Austin. When are you coming to Austin like everybody else from the Bay Area?
See, I thought that might be my buddy Don's. Might have a buddy named Don in Dallas, but he has a friend named Felicia.
I think they like a little,
but it's not. She's not in Austin,
and we don't know if these are real names. These are just people that email us and tell us what they think.
It has to be something real about them, but sometimes it sounds made up. But there you go.
Real fingers, because they're not writing this with their hands.
No,
it's a typed email.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you guys are interested in corresponding with us or letting us know what you think about the show, go to the website, don'tlistenchumcast.com. You can email us there, or we also have a Facebook page, Don't Listen Chumcast, and you can DM us there.
Yeah, we have some big fans out there. Audrey. Angie.
Yeah.
Come on, Julie. People are listening out there. Come on, send some emails in too. So give us some positive feedback.
So Napoleon's cousin emailed us from
Napoleon's cousin?
Yep, from Naples, Florida. You two are freaks. Love it. Listening on the mountain. The mountain/live dot something.
No, it's the mountain.live/stream. That's where he's getting it from.
Yeah, which by the way is a very good listen.
I love it. Right now we're preceded by the Grateful Dead hour. Not bad.
Sunday nights at 8:00 Pacific, 11:00 on the East Coast.
Love the mountain. They love their support.
So that's where Napoleon's cousin is checking us out for the most part. The mountain makes for fun Sunday evenings. Cheers. Here's $50. Check the thing. Check the PayPal.
I'll bring it up.
Check the right now. Check
I'm bringing it up. Yeah.
He says $50.
Okay. Yeah. There's a couple there. Yep. Okay.
Because some people like to bullshit. Like they like to say, "Oh, we say," and then we don't get it.
Won't mention his last name, but yeah, looks real. There you go.
Okay, that was Holla, and this has been the Don't Listen Chumcast. I'm Big Red, along with the Shebs. We're saying adios.
Adios, everybody.
So thanks for joining us. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. If you're overwhelmed and sad, please don't do it. Call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 866-903-3787. And remember that all we want is on the other side of fear.
Bye, Felicia.
Don't listen. A Basic Chumcast has been an exclusive presentation of Whetstone Entertainment in association with Is Chill Productions. Subscribe, follow, like, and share us while on your favorite social media hangouts and our YouTube channel. We're not into begging, but if you like us, review us and support us by continuing to check us out on your favorite podcast platforms. Find more fun and hit us with your feedback at don'tlistenchumcast.com.
Yeah, that's fantastic.